back with another video for you today. This is the third video in the DIY journal series for beginners. If you did not see the first two parts, I will leave the playlist linked for you in a card and down below so you can check those out. Today we're talking about how to bind your signatures into your spine, the signatures we did in the last episode. So we will do an insert type and the bound book, obviously, that I am making. First, let's talk about tools. This is the only one where you kind of need tools. So you do need an awl or something you can use to poke holes. I've seen people use push pins. When I was very first starting out and was desperate, I used a nail and a hammer and some wood. Probably don't recommend that, but get creative, use what you have. If you don't have anything else, don't let it discourage you. You can use a needle with a thimble to push it through, but it will be a lot harder. So you'll need an awl or something else to poke holes. You're going to need a needle, obviously. I have a set of doll needles, but you don't want one with a big eye like this because your holes in your book will be huge. You want one with a smaller hole in the head of the needle. So I'm sure you could find a sewing needle that would work just as well, but the doll needles are a little longer. You can use any thread that you want. Most people recommend wax linen thread. I was gifted a bunch of super strength bead cord, like no stretch bead cord, and it's really strong, and that's what I use to bind my journals, but I'm not saying like that's what you should use. You can get all these materials anywhere. If you don't have any of them, I have found a link to a kit on Amazon that includes all bookbinding needles and the bookbinding thread, and I believe a bone folder for like $9. So that is a steal. I have not purchased it myself, but I made sure to check the reviews, and it seems okay. So yeah, it might be something you want to check out if you are interested in that. But like I said, make do with what you have, and let's get into binding our journals. Alright guys, let's bind this puppy up. So I have done the insert first. If you're working on an insert, you want to pull out your cover that I had you set aside in the beginning, and we're going to kind of fold it around your inserts. And you want to press really lightly. Make sure that your edges are lined up, and then push. You're going to make like, it's going to cut, I don't know. It's not a harsh fold. It's more of a little dip, if that makes any sense at all. You don't want to do like a bone folder harsh crease because then it won't fit around your inserts properly. I mean, around your signature properly. So next I patted down the papers so they're all kind of aligned with each other, and then I'm pushing into the center of the book to make sure those papers are as close together as they can be. I put one paper clip on the top and one paper clip on the bottom on the opposite side. This holds your paper in place while you're binding your book really nicely, so that it doesn't move and you can get the tightest stitch possible. This is the only time that I ever use a ruler when I'm making my books, and I'm not technically measuring. I'm just trying to space my holes out evenly, so I find the center with the ruler, and then I usually try to do at least ½ an inch from the top, if not a full inch. It depends on the look you want to go for. I do a super simple stitch. Sometimes I do this 3-hole stitch, sometimes I'll add more than 3 holes, but the way that I stitch it can be used for any number of odd amount of holes, basically. There are tons of ways to bind a book, so if you'd like a more complex stitching, feel free to look up other tutorials. This is just a super easy way that I do it. So as you saw, I punched my holes through my cover as well, so you want to go ahead and do that in the same place as your insert, using your insert as a guide that you already punched the holes in. Then I'm going to take my thread and my needle and thread it through. Then you're going to go through the center of your insert and put it into the center hole of your cover. You want to pull it through and leave a relatively good tail. Also, make sure you poked your hole big enough for your needle. So you want to leave a relatively good tail. You can hold it or you can washi tape it. When I first started, I was washi taping it because it was easier, but now I can just hold it. Then you're going to go, because you're on the outside, you're going to go up from the top hole back in through your insert. So you've gone out the middle and in the top hole, and you're going to pull it tight, making sure you still have that tail. Then you're going back through the middle and pulling it out. Then you're going in the bottom hole. And don't worry, I do this a couple times so you'll get the hang of it. It seems complex, but it's really easy. You're going to pull that tight. Then you're going to tuck, I'm just showing you, nice and tight. You're going to tuck the needle under the one you've already threaded, pull it back towards the bottom, tight. Then use your other hand to tie a knot using the string from the top. From the center that you still had. I hope that made sense. That just keeps the whole signature tight, or at least it's the way I've found that it keeps it tight, so that you don't lose any, it doesn't end up loose. Now I'm going to do it again so you can see. I have included at the end of this video more times so you can see that. But this is another time I use a ruler. So if you're doing multiple signatures, take your guide that you made for your page sizes. Don't throw that away. You need this. You can always make another one if you need it. So I'm going to make a mark in the center and then where I want my other two holes. And I'm going to draw a line about 1/2 inch so that I know for sure where those are. Then you could use a pencil for this, but I'm going to use a pen so you guys can see. You're going to measure your spine and then draw a line the size of your spine on your ruler. On your paper with your ruler. Then you're going to make a dot for however many signatures you had. So I had 5, so I worked out the 5 dots. This is going to help you stitch in a straight line all the way down the binding. So here, you could use a pencil, but I'm using the pen. It doesn't bother me. And you're going to draw a straight line across where you marked the 3 holes. Okay? And not move it. So there's your lines. That's where all of your 3 stitches will be. Then you take your spine drawing, I guess you could say, where you made those 5 marks, and you're going to mark it on every line. That way, when you stitch your signatures in, the binding on the outside isn't all zigzaggy looking. They're in a straight, or mostly straight line for you. Just creates a cleaner look with minimal effort, which is what I go for. We go for minimal effort here. So then I'll take my first signature and I'm going to paper clip it like I did with the insert. Top and bottom, making sure all those papers are lined and as tight in the center as they can be. Then you're going to take your template and you're going to mark your 3 holes where you're going to poke the holes for the binding. Now make sure, you might want to write top on your guide. Make sure, especially if you're not doing perfect measurements, that you always use the top at the top of your inserts. Otherwise, your holes might not align in the same way. So there, I poked my 3 holes just to show you. I would poke them all at once, but I'm just showing you one. So here, poke the holes into the signature. Then we're going to take the thread. Oh, I forgot to tell you. When you do your thread, you want to measure the height of the signature twice, plus a little bit extra, and that'll give you enough to bind it in if you're only doing the 3 holes. So again, thread your needle. We're going out the middle, leave a little tail in the top hole, pull it tight. We're going back through out the middle hole. Don't lose your tail. Pull it tight. Going back in through the bottom hole. Pull that tight. Then you're going under the top stitch, pulling down towards you, and then tying with the middle tail. So I hope that made sense for you. If it didn't make sense, you can look up any stitch, really, and there'll be plenty of other tutorials. I don't know if I explained it the best, but like I said, there's plenty of other tutorials out there. You could also, if you're just doing an insert, you could staple it, but I prefer to stitch them by hand because it prevents it from breaking apart with water. And there you go. There's the stitching on the outside. So here I've sped it up. I do the last 4 on camera for you. If you're feeling confident and raring to go, then thank you for watching. And you can go ahead, but I know that sometimes it's helpful just to watch people do it a couple more times. So that's why I left that in here for you guys. So yeah. I hope you guys have found this tutorial helpful. Don't forget to check out things I've linked below for you and the playlist in case you want to watch the rest of it. I cannot wait to see how all of your journals come out. I know when I'm putting a journal together, I get really excited and I just want it to be done. So thank you for being patient with all of these tutorials coming out in not as close to each other as I would have hoped at times. So yeah, I can't wait to kind of finish the insert off and decorate it with you. Like I said, don't forget that there is another installment coming. Check out the playlist. Yeah, I think I'll just let you guys finish here. If you have any questions, like I've said before, you can go ahead and leave them below and I will answer them in the final video. Enjoy creating your books, guys. It's so much fun. Take care.